Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and I just got back from the movie theaters. I saw Spider-Man No Way Home, the third installment in the Spider-Man franchise that is partnered between Sony and the MCU, starring Tom Holland, and dramatic effect. So many mind-blowing scenes. They did it. They actually did it, and it was so amazing. I am lost for words. Like, I can't believe it actually happened, type of thing. Yes, we have heard rumors going on for the past year, if not a little longer, that so certain actors were would be appearing in the movie. Some were confirmed, particularly the ones that were the villains. For example, Jamie Foxx as Electro, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, the actors who played Sandman, Lizard, and also oh my gosh, I'm like blanking out right now. But yeah, like there were from if I remember, I think I got all the villains. Oh, that they were all like confirmed to come back. The villains that we saw in the other Spider-Man movies from the past, right? Electro, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, the Lizard, and Sandman. Yes, I counted five. Okay, just making sure they were confirmed to come back. Which, knowing, of course, the history of the Spider-Man movies, those villains were from the other versions of Spider-Man, not from the MCU timeline. So, of course, when those actors were confirmed to play those villainous roles, a lot of fans were speculating that maybe this is, you know, the introduction of crossing over with the multiverse. And since Benedict Cumberbatch last year was confirmed to be in this movie as Doctor Strange, you're connecting all the dots together, and it makes you wonder that is something like this really going to happen? Oh wait, guys, sorry, hold on, there we go. It makes you wonder that if something like this is really happening, like that made people wonder that, oh, so does that mean Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, who were previous Spider-Man back in the day, would they be in this movie too? There was a lot of speculation, but they were not confirmed. Even to the point where a lot of reporters and YouTubers, people who report on movie news media and all that stuff, would ask questions. Are they going to be in the movie? Are they going to be in the movie? And of course, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield denied it, to the point where even Tom Holland denied it. Like, no, they're not in the movie. The people don't believe me. And long and behold, just letting you guys know here, there's spoilers. There's spoilers. I should have mentioned that at the beginning of this video, but there are spoilers in this video. They appeared. They appeared. You see all three of them, all three Spider-Men, together in a scene, fighting side by side each other. It was so surreal. Like, this is really happening. This is really happening. Oh my goodness. This is happening. Never did I ever imagine that something like this would happen. I mean, Marvel is at the point in their game where they can do anything. Anything. We've seen them do the impossible with Infinity War and Endgame, where they were able to bring all the characters together on an epic battle scale proportion to fight against Thanos. That was a movie event to remember. They and now they do this where they're crossing over with superheroes who technically belong to a different company. Like, yes, Spider-Man is a Marvel character, however he was bought by Sony, so there was the whole making negotiations with the company. But now it's possible. Like literally, you're seeing Spider-Man played by Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield looking at an Avenger from the MCU, which is Doctor Strange in this case. Like they now hear the reference of the Avengers, and it was so funny. They're like, an Avenger? What's an Avenger? Is that like a band or something? This happened. This actually happened on screen. I'm like, oh my goodness. It was just, it happened. It was amazing. Well done to Sony and Marvel for making this happen, and congrats to them due to the fact that this movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, made $253 million opening weekend at the domestic box office, which, considering the circumstances of a pandemic, this is pretty amazing. Movies in this past year have, some have done well, others have not. Have, some movies have struggled here and there, and that's all due to the pandemic. Research has shown that people were kind of nervous to go back to the theater, or they were kind of picky into what movie they were most likely to spend on, what movie they were willing to go out of the house for to watch in theater. And it kind of goes to show you that Marvel kind of takes the lead. I mean, Shang-Chi did really well over the Labor Day weekend. Eternals did well. They will, despite negative reviews. They did pretty well. Black Widow, even though its first weekend it was available on streaming simultaneously as well as in theaters, did well first weekend, but it had a not so great drop over the second weekend. And of course, that was due to the whole streaming and pandemic factor. But yeah, like still, at least the movies overall, the movies did not flop. At least they made their budget. But this one, to make that much money in a pandemic era, kudos to you guys, to the Spider-Man team for being able to do that. Congrats. The fact that the movie was able to pull off in a pandemic, wow. Now let's see how things go. We don't know how things are going to be the second weekend and how much it will make globally. Maybe it will. A lot of people are hoping that this movie will make $1 billion. Maybe it will. I mean, Spider-Man has been around for a long time, so it has its fan base for the past 20 plus years. So it might make that billion. It has a larger fan base than say, um, like the other Marvel characters. Um, so it might. It might. I don't know. I heard it's not playing in China, which is unfortunate. A lot of Marvel movies this year did not play in China due to reasons. But let's see if Spider-Man can do it. I know there's a new variant, of course, of COVID, which is called Omicron. So let's see how it does. We don't know yet. But congrats at least for making that much money in its first opening weekend. $253 million. Third highest opening ever, right behind both Avengers movies, if I'm not mistaken, and a little ahead of the first Star Wars Force Awakens movie. So congrats to them. And I mean, they deserved it. The fact that we got to see all three Spider-Men fighting alongside each other on screen was amazing. And not only that, shout out to Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. He appeared only briefly though. I kind of wish there was a little bit more of him. But it was cool to see a cameo of Charlie Cox. And yes, they used the same actor, Charlie Cox, from the Daredevil Netflix show as, the character Matt Murdock slash Daredevil. He played Peter Parker's lawyer in this, and they even show him using a little bit of his reflexes here and there, which kind of surprised Peter Parker a little bit. Like, how was he able to do that kind of thing? So that was cool. Now, that makes me wonder. Like I said, this is a spoiler video. Considering the circumstances at the end of this movie, everybody forgot about the fact that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, so no one remembers, so he's back to being an anonymous type of superhero. Makes me wonder, now that he has no connections now to the Stark Industries, is he gonna team up with other Avengers? Like, is he gonna start fresh? Make his way back to the Avengers team? So that'll be interesting to see. With this third installment, you kind of see the closing chapter of Peter Parker's high school days. You see that come to a close because his friends are now like off to college or the university, whatever. And now you see a new chapter in Peter Parker's life. He's basically all on his own due to the fact, spoiler alert, his Aunt May dies due to the explosions from the Green Goblin. Um, so now he has no support. He doesn't have his guardian with her, which she was basically like a mom to him, right? So instead of Uncle Ben dying, it's basically Aunt May who dies. So there's a little bit of a twist there. Um, and she gives him that whole talk about great power. With great power comes great responsibility. So it was a nice little parallel twist. Like instead of using Uncle Ben, they use Aunt May to do that, to give the whole speech and to be the one who dies for her nephew. Um, so yeah, I was really sad when she died. I did not want Aunt May to die, because now that leaves Peter Parker as an orphan. But like I said, this is the closing chapter of Peter Parker's high school days. Now technically Peter is, he's a full grown adult now. You're going to basically see his college years and his adult life type of thing, which if Sony and Marvel do plan to make more Spider-Man movies, like I said, they could start off with a whole new chapter, a new trilogy, if they plan to do a trilogy, iteration of, like I said, Peter Parker's adulthood life. And of course, with that, he, like I said, he could start fresh by meeting new Avengers, since now none of the Avengers remember him. He could probably, which I really hope they do now that they brought Matt Murdock into this. Maybe he could team up with Matt Murdock down the road. I have read somewhere that in the comics, Shang-Chi trains Spider-Man to be a martial artist, like, to better his fighting skills. Now that Spider-Man does not have access to Stark technology due to the fact that Happy doesn't remember him, you know, Peter Parker can't rely on tech anymore. He now needs to use his fists basically in order to fight. And who better to teach him how to fight than Matt Murdock, Daredevil, right? He was really good in with his fighting skills in the Netflix show, as you guys may have seen. And of course, the best kung fu master out there, Shang-Chi. I think those two should join up with Peter Parker and help him in his fighting skills and whatnot. So that'd be really cool to see. Yeah, I would love to see that. I will totally pay money to see that. If the Sony and Marvel agree to do that, I'm like, please, 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 please. But yeah, I mean, now there's also rumor as to will Tom Holland Peter Parker continue with the MCU, or will he just stay with the Sony verse movies? To be honest, why can't they do both, right? You might as well do both. They'll make tons of money doing it. Why keep him on one side when you could use Tom Holland's Peter Parker on both sides? I know that there was like a recent interview of Tom Holland where he said he doesn't want to play Spider-Man until he's 30 or something like that, but he had to correct himself as to what he really meant. Um, I mean, again, explore the Peter Parker character when he's also an adult, right? They don't have to just focus on him in high school. And as we see in the very end of this movie, his high school days are now coming to a close. Like, that's over. We can now focus of him as an adult, explore how he manages through life as an adult Spider-Man. That would be very interesting to see. And again, he could start that whole new chapter in his life by meeting new Avengers down the road in Phase 4, which, like I'm saying now, it should be Daredevil and Shang-Chi. They should be the ones to meet up with Spider-Man. But other than that, that's just my opinion. But yeah, it was really heartbreaking to see Aunt May die. But again, it allows the Peter Parker character to grow. And the fact that Peter Parker, in terms of his character development, was willing to make the sacrifice, recognizing his mistakes, right? Not being able to face the problems that he caused. Instead, he's trying to fix it, but him fixing it kind of made it worse. What he realized that he needed to do was kind of make a sacrifice, right? Um, and that sacrifice involved of having all his friends and family forget that, like, who he was, basically who his real identity was, and he was willing to do it. Even Doctor Strange was getting, like, at the very end was getting kind of emotional, like I don't want to do it, you're just a kid, but if that's what you want, then I'm going to do it, kind of thing. So yeah, it was really heartbreaking, but it worked for the character's development. So I thought that was really good writing. It made you feel for the character, which is the goal of, the writers and all the movie execs and the movie crew, the director. The goal of a movie is to make you feel for the character, to make you feel their struggles, to make you understand that yes, they are flawed. They sometimes make bad choices, but they learn from those bad choices and they try to make themselves a better person. And that's what this movie succeeded in doing. It's a bittersweet ending, but bittersweet endings for me with the correct writing, the correct character motivation, the correct character development, it works. And in this case, it did work for the story arc of Peter Parker. He had to learn from his mistakes, and he was willing to pay for his mistakes by making that sacrifice to protect his friends and his family. And of course, to avenge or redeem the one that he lost. That the fact that he lost his loved one, right? The woman, Aunt May, who raised him. So that was really good. I mean, what more can I say? I'm not gonna go into like all the story details. Like, if you guys want to know what this movie's about, go watch the movie. Go watch the movie for yourselves. It is amazing. I'm telling you, you're gonna be mind blown by seeing all the past villains come together, by seeing the other two Spider-Men pop up, and you see all three Spider-Men fight together to get that little brief cameo of Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, as Peter Parker's lawyer. It just checks all the boxes. It goes to show you that now Marvel can do anything with the whole concept now of the multiverse. Anything can happen. And just also a shout out here to Hawkeye, right? We know that Hawkeye is streaming on Disney Plus, and if you guys have seen the 5th episode of Hawkeye, they had Daredevil in Spider-Man No Way Home, and not only that, they also have Kingpin by the actor who was in the Netflix series, Vincent D'Onofrio, as Wilson Fisk. Kingpin is also coming back in the Hawkeye show. So the fact that you got these Daredevil characters from the Netflix version coming out into the MCU to interact with MCU characters is so exciting. All of this happening in 1 week. The multiverse is like in full effect now, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Anything is possible now. Anything is possible. Marvel could bring back, the Fantastic Four. They could bring back the X-Men and have them interact with the Avengers. And I think it's going to be so much fun to see that. I can't wait. And as we know, the next Marvel movie in Phase 4 is Doctor Strange 2 Into the Multiverse of Madness. And just so you guys know, if you guys know, every Marvel movie has at least 2 post-credit scenes, a mid-credit scenes, and an end-credit scene. And the end-credit scenes, it goes into the whole multiverse concept. They basically give you like a sneak peek trailer of Doctor Strange 2. You see him meet up with Scarlet Witch. He needs her help, and they explore the concept of the multiverse. And from what I heard rumors that because there were so many reshoots that had to be made, because they're introducing new characters, and all of it has to tie in with the multiverse. Who knows what could happen at this point? Who knows what characters they could bring back from other, studios, right, that are Marvel related. It's gonna be a ride. I think it's gonna be a really fun ride. Um, so I can't wait. And hey, who's to say that we're gonna probably see a different version of Captain America? We're probably gonna see a different version of Iron Man. So yes, the characters will be there, but different versions of them, right? And even the Loki series explored that, right? But there was all these Loki variants from different timelines. Now you have Kang the Conqueror coming into all this, and Ant-Man 3, which will also be exploring probably alternate timelines and dimensions. The multiverse is in full effect. I am like at loss for words. This is gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. Marvel's on a roll. So yeah, I can't wait. This is gonna be a lot of fun, guys. So anyway, guys, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about this. Have you guys seen the new Spider-Man No Way Home? If you have, let me know what was your favorite scene. What are you most looking forward to in Marvel down the line of Phase 4 now that the multiverse is being explored? And what ideas do you think should be about for Spider-Man's new chapters in his life, his new, if they plan to, which I hope they do, his new upcoming trilogies? If they want to continue with Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. What new storylines should they explore? Let me know down in the comments below, like and subscribe, and as always, take care, guys. Bye!